Good afternoon, this is E17 News, your first information choice. I'm Sofia Londoño.
I am Isabela Zamorano.
And I am Juan Diego Victoria. And here are the news for today, 29th of July.
These are the news leads.
In politics, former Minister Andres Felipe Arias was extradited from the United States to Colombia in the morning of July 12. Arias is sentenced to 17 years of prison for the Agroingreso Seguro scandal. Female leader was murdered in El Copey Cesar. Tatiana Pozo was shot by an unknown man when she was leaving her house. Another man was also injured. An intersection of interviews, we spoke with Elena Paz, the famous writer of feminist novels who is revolutionizing the ways of writing about gender.
In sports, on July 17, it was announced that the Colombian soccer player Isabela Echeverri is now part of the Spanish soccer team Sevilla, considered one of the most important leagues in Europe. Not everything is about football. Giovanni Urshela, the Colombian baseball player, has amazed 9 home runs in what he has been playing with the New York Yankees. He is one of the best players on the team, proving that hard work pays off. For today's interview, we are going to speak with the famous gymnast Ana Victoria Johnson, that just ended another great competitive season.
And in the entertainment world, Camila Cabello and Shawn Mendes together? After their successful collaboration, Señorita, on June 21st, Camila and Shawn are most united than ever. They go everywhere together, and even have kissed in front of paparazzis. Is this the birth of a new relationship in music industry? Taylor Swift's music was snatched from her. On June 30th, Scooter Braun, a well-known businessman from America, purchased on the Big Machine label group, owning all the albums of the artist and leaving her without the rights of her music. And the rising star you were expecting for. In an exclusive interview with E17 News, the designer Dolian Peviani, coming just after his debut stage in the Seoul Fashion Week this last Friday.
We are here with the inspired and revolutionary writer Elena Paz. Helena, it's a pleasure having you today in E17 News.
Thank you, I'm very glad to be here.
So tell us, why did you become interested in gender issues?
Well, I grew up in Colombia in a very conservative home, and since I was a little kid, I always questioned the way of things. So when I was growing up, I couldn't understand why I couldn't do some things just because I was a girl.
Yes.
Then when I get to college, I tried to focus my work into that line.
And tell us more about your recent novel.
Well, this novel took me around 3 years to write. It is based in some interviews with some girls in Colombia about their stories with gender issues like harassment, like rape, and traditional gender roles. So it was very interesting to put that stories in pictures for me. It was a challenging work, but I'm very happy with the results.
I read your book and I think it's incredible, so
Thank
powerful. You portray the story so well.
Well, thank you, that was the idea, because I owe it to that girls. They shared the stories because they believed that this could make a good in the current society.
And why do you think feminism is so important in today's society?
Well, I think that feminism is the correct answer because it looks for the social and economical and gender equality of the sexes. And I understand why in Colombia it's so difficult to take feminism as a way of thinking, as a way of living. But it's because, for example, the old people who were raised in times when mom has to stay in the house taking care of the children and that goes to work and support economically the family, they just can't conceive another way of thinking. But I think this is really changing with this new generation.
And do you think that feminism is going to change society structures?
Yes, I really think so. We can see it today, for example, in the crowds manifesting for the rise of gay people in the Pride, for example. Women are standing up for issues like abortion or femicide. And I really think that this generation is very committed with gender issues and equality.
And sadly, for the last question, how is going to be the tour for the book?
Well, the tour began a few weeks ago in some of the main cities of Colombia, and now we are going to the United States and Canada, and then we're going to some countries in Europe for signing books and readings.
Helena, I'm so happy to have you here. Thank you for being in E17 News.
Thank you for inviting me.
Now we have the world famous gymnastic Anna Victoria Johnson in an exclusive interview with E17 News. Anna Victoria, it's so good to see you. How are you?
Fine, thank you for inviting me.
It's a pleasure having you here.
Thank you.
So the first question about Anna Victoria is, what are your tips after a long workout routine?
Well, some of the things that I do when I finish a hard workout is I get home, I take a bath, maybe with some candles or some relaxing music. I also like to eat, obviously, because I'm super tired and I'm hungry. And then I watch some of my favorite movies or series or maybe some YouTube videos. And when I'm super stressed out and anxious, I like to call my mom because her voice is super relaxing to me. And then when I'm super tired, I sleep. And if I am not that tired, and maybe I will go for a nice walk around my neighborhood.
So Anna Victoria, the second question is, since you're a high performance athlete, what's your diet like? Everybody wants to know that.
Well, actually, it's not like super crazy or restricted. I don't count calories. I don't think that that's healthy. So I love food and I love healthy food. I actually don't crave junk, gross food with weird ingredients. So yeah, my diet is pretty minimalistic and healthy, but because I really enjoy it, and I don't force myself, I don't limit myself. Yeah, that's pretty much my diet.
So Anna, we have seen that on your Instagram you post many photos of the places you have traveled to. So what's your favorite place, and can you tell us about an anecdote that you have on these trips?
Well, actually, I don't have like one favorite place because I think that every country and city has its own beauty and magic. But I will say that my top favorite places are Canada, New York, Indonesia, Thailand, Bali, and Italy. And actually, last year when I visited Thailand with my mom, we went to a sanctuary for elephants, and that was one of the most rewarding experiences of my life. Like, really, I highly recommend that if you go to Thailand, you go to one of the sanctuaries because that's amazing. Like, that feeling when you see those animals is unbelievable, indescribable, honestly.
So Anna, how did you get started in the world of gymnastics, and how old were you?
Well, I was really little when I started. Actually, I was really shy. Um, I even hardly leave the house. So my mom thought that maybe practicing some sport will help me to break that bubble. She signed me up for some classes, and guess what classes were? Gymnastics. So yeah, that's kind of how everything started. I was maybe like 7 years old, I think.
Oh, you were too young. So Anna, gymnastics is the center of your life and what you spend more time with. So what's your hobby on vacation?
Well, if I am traveling on vacation, I like to visit the most iconic typical places of the city where I am travel to. I like to eat the typical food. I like to do some fun activities. And if I am not traveling and I am staying home, I like to visit my family and cook and maybe go to some yoga classes or Pilates, something super relaxing like that.
It's so normal. So Anna Victoria, the last question is, how do you balance your family life with your professional life?
Well, maybe as you might have noticed, I am really close with my family, especially with my mom. So for me, it's super important to check on her and see how she's doing, if she needs something, or just talk to her in general. So I try to call her at least 3 or 4 times a week. I try to not miss any of her birthdays or Mother's Day because for me those moments are super precious, you know. And I also try to on holidays, Christmas, New Year's, spend time with my family because for me they are everything. So I try to balance my life and yeah, I try to be as balanced as possible.
You're a very good daughter. So, Anna, it was a pleasure having you here. Thank you for coming,
Thank you for inviting me. I was so happy to be here.
and see you next time in E17 News, your first information choice.
So, we are here with Dolian Peviani. Dolian, thank you very much for being here.
It's a pleasure being here. I really love you. I always see E17 News.
Thank you. Dolian, tell us a little bit about what you felt when people start recognizing your work.
Well, when I was a kid in like 2009, my dream was becoming the greatest artist in the world, even without knowing what kind of art I was going to do. And guess what? That idea never got out from my head. Then, when I was called by the Seoul Fashion Week organizers, I was like, oh my god, I can't believe this. And then, when I was in every conversation at the after parties, it was a great experience. So, I think you now can guess my answer at that question. It's a big unbelievable.
Now, Dolian, tell us a little bit about the relationship with your fans. How would you define it?
Well, I really love my fans, you know? I think when you're a designer, their love is more real. Because look, when you're a singer, they love what you sing. And when you're a model, they love your image and your style. But it's different in my case, you know? Because they love what I can do with my hands, what I can imagine. It just feels like magic, you know? I really love my friends. I have no words for them.
Tell us a little bit about your family, your workplace. How is your personal life?
Well, actually, I was born in Verona, Italy. But I moved to Detroit in Michigan when I was like 5, and I lived there until my 20s, so I was raised there. It's my home, you know? And I have a precious relationship with my family. You know, half of them are Italian, half is Mexican, so it's such a crazy adventure. Actually, in Italy, we have an iconic proverb that my nonna always tells me, and it says, chi si volta e chi si gira, sempre a casa va a finire. And it's about going far from home and coming back again with your family. Because, you know, in Italy, la familia, it's the most important thing.
Yeah, sure. And there is reflected you always bring your mama to the shows, right? How is that?
Yes, my mama. I really love my mama. You know, she works so hard for my succeed, and it's the least I can do, you know? Bringing her into the shows, showing to the world the mama of Dolian Peviani is the less I can do for her and all her effort. I am nothing without her.
Now, can you tell us about the touch that people are starting to talk about these days?
The touch. Yeah, it's a funny story, you know? When I was in Detroit making designs for little runways at school auditoriums, I met this girl. She was Victoria Bella, yeah. She was an amateur model, and her dream was becoming the new Naomi Campbell. So when we met, I thought, oh my god, she's so beautiful, but her style is so awful. Then I gave her some advices, and she was shining that night. A week later, she contacted me on Instagram and told me that she was going to New York for studying in Ford models. I was like, oh my god, how does that happen? And then she succeeded and now tells everybody that I have the touch. So I really love her, it's so funny.
And now, finally, Dolian, is there something you want to tell to the E17 viewers, to your fans?
Yeah, it's a pleasure being here, sharing a little piece of my life with you. And if the clothes design, if your passion, you better follow me on Instagram at Dolian Peviani.
That's all. Thank you for joining us in E17 News.
Thank you for having me. It was such a pleasure.
These were the news for today.
Thank you for preparing E17 News as your first information choice.
Until next time, good night.